it's Meg. Welcome back to Meg After Dark. Today we're talking about last night's episode of The Walking Dead. It was season 9, episode 10, called Omega. What did y'all think of the episode? I really liked it. I didn't know how much I liked it until I was editing my reaction video and while watching it again. And I realized all of the things that I missed and didn't really put together during my first watch. I was like blown away by kind of the bigger picture of like what I really missed in the flashback scenes. So I thought that was so cool. I really need to I've kind of watched it 1 and a half times, 1 and 3/4 times, because I watched it the first time, obviously, filmed the reaction, and then while I was editing, you know, I film a reaction for the whole episode, and I watch it all and cut out parts I don't want. So as I was watching it again, I put together and understood really what the flashback scenes meant, and the episode meant so much more to me after I realized what I'd missed. So I feel like you're so smart, you all probably caught on right away, but I loved it. So that's the part I want to talk about most right now, but we'll touch on a few other things as well. I want to talk about kind of those beginning flashback open scenes where at the beginning of the episode we see Lydia starts to kind of tell her story of how all of this came to be, from the very beginning of when all of the shit hit the fan, when the walkers started coming back. We're 23, they're 23 days, so almost a month into the end of the world, the apocalypse. And we see this very sweet scene of her mother like consoling her and singing to her. She has the Lydia tattoo on her arm, and the dad appears more cold, standoffish, not really comforting, not really worrying about what he's saying, you know, that might scare Lydia. And I thought that was so sweet, you know. I was like, oh man, Alpha was a good mom. And then as the episode progresses, now originally, like when I saw Lydia's dad holding her singing with the Lydia tattoo, I was like, oh, huh, do they have the same exact tattoo? That's weird, you know, but I was like, oh, that's cute, you know. I didn't realize that the whole time, you know, this is such a cool way that the writers showed us Lydia's past, her emotional and physical abuse, her trauma, how she has been brainwashed by her mother, and it was such an interesting way to portray that on the screen. So Lydia is telling her honest memories, how she recalls to Henry, how she recalls her dad cutting his beard, saying that he, you know, he can be whoever he wants to be. I think that's what he said now, so he's gonna cut the beard. And then later, as she begins to open up more and as she begins to really delve into those memories, she starts getting, I think, flashback pieces. I really need to go back and really sit down and focus and watch it again. But then we see these same scenes almost repeated, although in a way where you don't quite know they're being repeated. You know, like you see her dad die in the beginning and you think, oh, he was bit. You see, then later you see the actual walker come back and like eat his neck, and that is what Lydia honestly believes happened. And then as she's talking and as these memories are coming out, we then see a different side of the story. We see the dad consoling her with the Lydia tattoo and singing to her, and we see how her mother killed the guy, the guy that was creating a commotion. And then we see how the mom is actually the one who is cutting off all her hair, saying she can be whoever she wants to be now. And, you know, at the time, watching it the first time, I just didn't get that. I thought maybe it was like she saw the dad do it, and then as she was getting more confident, she then felt more confident she was gonna cut her hair too, you know. They both had the same tattoo. Oh, that's cute, you know, whatever. I was so blown away when I finally realized what they were showing us. Then at the end of the episode, you know, Henry asks her if it was all a lie, and she says, maybe, I don't remember the exact words, but I think she said something like, maybe it was, but they weren't my lies. And it shows us just how brainwashed she is. Like her mother like told her what happened so many times that it actually changed the way she remembered those beginning moments of her life there once the real world ended and, you know, the walkers came back and all of that. So super cool way to show how someone's traumatic past can affect the way they remember things. Just so absolutely cool. And then as we know, Henry, so I know I like to hate on Henry. I really just don't like, I never liked the way it was in the comics, which was the same version of this, basically the same stuff happening but with Carl, because I felt like the decisions Carl made in the comics, and kind of the same with Henry at first here, that he was thinking more like with his emotions, like liking her, as opposed to thinking like what is best for the group that he lives in and his family and the people that he cares about. For example, giving information about the kingdom, like it's so fucking stupid. And having lived through, even though he was younger, having lived through the war and fighting the saviors and just everything that has happened to get everyone to where they are, like he knows and he has been taught things to say, things not to say. Like he knows what he shouldn't be doing, especially with a stranger, especially once you know, Jesus just came back, he was dead. Like come on, dude. And he's thinking more like with his pants than he is with his brain. So yeah, I hate that about him. I hated it in the comics when Carl did it. And so, of course, I don't really like it in the show with Henry. And I've never liked Henry, so I'm sorry, you guys. I've just never liked the kid. So, but I do, at first I thought that he took the keys and let Lydia out, like, without Daryl knowing. But later we see that Daryl actually was like, he was off to the side watching, so I'm pretty sure they did it together, kind of to see what she would do. Although it did kind of put Henry at risk because she was about to like, she got the hammer. Like, I don't know what she was gonna do, but I think that she wouldn't hesitate to smack him over the head with it if she thought she could get away. Okay, since we're talking about Henry letting him out, or letting her out, excuse me, let's talk about the worm eating scene. Like, how fucking gross was that? It was so weird. I mean, it shows you, it gives you a glimpse, like that's what she eats, you know. They have been living very wild, and they have not been living the same way that the Hilltop has been living, the Kingdom has been living, Alexandria has been living. They have food, they've made gardens, like they, you know, trade with each other, whatever, but they've been eating like real food. And when you think about the Whisperers, they've been moving like walkers, living like walkers. They don't really have a steady place to live, and so it makes sense that they would eat things like worms out of the ground, like that they would live more like animals than people. So it was kind of like, it was an insight to Lydia, but it was also like the things you do for love. And I was so grossed out by it, especially when she was like slurping it and stuff. Ugh. But I think they're definitely leading towards a relationship with Henry and Lydia. I did really end up liking Lydia at the end of the episode because you see just how much she's been through. And I really like that they showed too at the end that she kind of understood what she'd been through as well. And she was beginning, you know, at the beginning of the episode, she was more brainwashed, I think. And she was like, if, you know, like when Daryl called her out on, your mom beats you because she loves you, like that's bullshit kind of thing. You know, she believed that. And then by the end of the episode, I think she kind of was opening up more and realizing that that really doesn't have to be the way it is. I loved the Daryl interactions with her as well, because as we know, Daryl's past, he has a past of abuse from his father, and so he gets it. And I love that he was the one to be interrogating Lydia, because once he realized that she came from an abusive situation, he was able to understand her better, understand why she was lying and the things that she was doing, and he was able to relate to her as well. And I think she saw that in him as well. So I really like that dynamic there. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about before this video gets to be too long? Oh my God, when Henry told Daryl about Carol and why she now has long hair, that fucking broke me up. I did not realize that that was why she had long hair. In fact, I thought it was so odd after all of this time of her having short hair that she would suddenly have such long hair again. And I was like, oh, that's cool, you know, but not really thinking why. And I love that they told us that and it broke me up, because this whole episode was kind of about abusive past and, you know, the things that you do to get through it and how you feel when you do get through it, and just all of these things. And so for Henry to bring it up, and he said that she always had her hair cut short because her husband, Ed, as we know, would swing her around by her hair, like, you know, use it to hurt her, basically. So one day she chopped it all off, and it took her all of those years, and finally being with Ezekiel, I love Ezekiel, to allow her to grow it long again, to feel safe enough and in a place of safety where she could grow it long. And I just thought that was everything, and it made me love Ezekiel even more than I already do. I love them together, and I'm gonna be devastated if anything happens to them. I think I'm not gonna spoil anything, but comic storyline readers know that something happens with the Whisperers, and I'm so nervous about that. Please don't post anything in the comments, because I want this to kind of be a safe, spoiler-free place for people, especially because that is such a big piece of the comics. But I'm just like, oh God, I'm so worried. I love that part. And also just Alden, just to touch on Alden and Luke real fast too, the fact that they, Magna and Yumiko and everyone was going out to look for them at night, obviously, like, I thought that scene was so funny, because I love the talk that they had in the room where they were like, you know, ride or die, Luke is like we're gonna go after him no matter what, sort of thing. I'm drawing a blank now to the actual phrases that they said, so I'm struggling, but I love that dedication to go find him that they had, even though they were totally risking it by going out at dark, you know, not leaving a man behind. I love that about their group. They are such a tight-knit, close, like, family, and I just love that they were willing to put themselves at risk to go find him, even though it didn't work out. They went out, they realized it's too dark, which was so funny because they knew they were gonna go out at night. And then they get out there and they're like, it's too dark, we can't see anything. I want to be like, yeah, that's what happens when you go out at night looking for someone. You're not gonna be able to see very well. So I didn't realize though that they had been gone either all night or had left super early in the morning, because they were still walking back. You know, as the episode is coming to a close, they were still walking back. It was daylight, and they hadn't gotten back yet. So I thought my concept of time was thrown off there, I think. But the end scene, oh my gosh, seeing the Whisperers come and walking just like, whew, and there's a lot of them, a lot more than Lydia told Daryl. There's a lot of them. And they come up to the gate, and we get our first look at Alpha. That was so cool. So cool to finally see that comic scene come to life. And I want to talk about the previews for next week, but I think I'm going to do a separate video because this one's already pretty long. So all in all, I thought it was a great episode. Definitely worth a watch, another watch, again, a rewatch. Just to kind of pick up on all those little details and parallels between both her kind of manufactured memory and then the real memories. God, I can't get over how cool that was. To really show how someone's traumatic memories can be altered when you're being brainwashed. And oh, that's what I wanted to say. I think so when, that's what I got distracted, but when Henry let Lydia out and they were right before, when she was about to grab the hammer, she sees the baby and the baby cries and she is triggered. Like, she starts to kind of panic and she has like all these flashing memories, and there is definitely something there with babies. And if you guys saw the previews for next week, there is a baby. And I have some theories that are kind of, something's going on. So I am really excited to talk about it with you guys. So that's going to be another video here that I'm going to film right now. I think I've touched on everything in this review. Thank you guys so much for watching. If I missed something, please feel free to let me know. But yeah, if you want to see more of these reviews, let me know as well. I know I'm always a little all over the place, mainly because I watch the episode the night before and then I go to work and I don't really have time to watch again. And I also am just like terrible at putting all my thoughts together. So if you made it through the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. It means a lot to me. And let's talk more in the comments, all right? Take care, you guys. I will see you with my next video. Bye.